Yes, indeed, folks, you're listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com with myself, Total Biscuit. Let me tell you about the Vortex Pinnacle. That's what I want to do right now. Probably going to do another mail segment towards the end of the show, because there were 3 really good emails that I actually wanted to read, and each one of them I could do an entire segment on if I so desired, because they were all really good. Which is good. I like it when people send in good emails instead of the usual drooling crap. Like, hey, you know, even though I disagree very strongly with what that guy said, at least he had the balls to come out and say it. That would be pretty cool, right? Oh, Jesus. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about the worst heroic in Cataclysm. At least I hope it's the worst heroic in Cataclysm, because if it's not the worst heroic in Cataclysm, then I am not looking forward to finding the worst heroic in Cataclysm. Oh, no, no, no. Because if Blizzard have managed to screw it up even more than this, then the rage... I don't think my... Right, I'm getting a new microphone, right, in October. I get my first real paycheck from this job, and it's pretty good. Yeah, it's a good paycheck. I'm going to invest quite a bit of it in new equipment. So I'm going to get the same headset that the WWE guys use to rant and shout over the noise of 80,000 people in the crowd. So if that can't handle my ranting, nothing can. And yes, it's $550. And yes, it's damn well worth it. That's going to be my shoutcasting and everything else headset from here on in. And that might, just might, be able to deal with the rage that would come spewing forth from my mouth like blazing black fire. If it were the case that there is a worse heroic in Cataclysm than Vortex frickin' Pinnacle. Now, after the show, or if you're listening to the podcast, you've probably already seen it, you can go and have a look at my Vortex Pinnacle Heroic Mode video. I had no intention of actually going in here. I wanted to go and do Dead Mines. But here's the problem. Dead Mines has no gear yet. Or more accurately, it does, but the gear is level 20. Yeah, so not all that useful. Ergo, most people have no interest in going there. Not only that, but since the LFG system isn't working, that means you have to fly across the entire freaking continent to get there. And not only that, but you have to find your way into the bloody place, which, as any Hordie will tell you, is a nightmare. So, getting a heroic DM group a little bit tricky. Going to work on that. We were supposed to do it last night, but because Blizzard can't keep their damn instance servers up, we weren't able to do that. I've been told that the US instance servers worked just fine, but of course the EU servers didn't. Herr. Yes. We can't keep a reliable server for our largest testing population, but it's okay because the Americans get GM death touches on their bosses and manned walkthroughs of their 5-man heroics in their 85 pre-mades in 333 gear. Isn't it wonderful? All they need to do is click a button and they get an instant eye-level 333 pre-made. What do we have to do? Go and run bloody instances that don't work half the time for gear that probably won't drop. Oh, entire bloody lost city of Tolvir run, not a single piece of cloth. Before that, Halls of Origination, not a single piece of bloody cloth. Oh. Speaking of cloth, I might add, things that also don't drop. Ember Silk. Bloody Ember Silk. You know what? You can actually fix a lot of the problems you've got with your item level gear if you can get some crafting. But can you find any Ember Silk in the dungeons? No, because it doesn't drop. Ah. Shaking with rage is what Total Biscuit is doing. Vortex Pinnacle makes me mad, bros. It does. I ended up in there because a very kind instance group said, hey, do you want to come along and film our Vortex Pinnacle run? I said, absolutely. And I said, well, why do you have 4? Because we had some terrible mage, and you'll probably play better. And I laughed. I was like, have you seen my videos? No, I don't play better. But whatever. I seem to do pretty well and didn't die, so I suppose that's the main thing, isn't it? Dear Lord. So, I came along, and I went and did Vortex Pinnacle with these guys, and these guys played really, really well. They were awesome. They knew exactly what they were doing, but they'd never done Vortex Pinnacle before, as I confirmed by watching the achievement pop-up for everybody! Yes. Nobody had been in there in heroic mode. And why would they? Because it sucks! So we went through there, and we wiped once on trash, and then once on each boss. Now, why did we wipe once on each boss, you might ask? Well, because there was a new mechanic that we didn't know about. And then we went and ruffle stomped it. Simple as that. And you might say, well, Total Biscuit. This is what someone said on the YouTube channel. And they don't seem to understand how heroics work. Well, isn't Vortex Pinnacle supposed to be an 81 to 83 dungeon? Surely that means that the heroic is easier. That's not how heroics work, dear. Ever. Ever. It doesn't work that way, I'm sorry to tell you. It's supposed to be balanced for level 85 on heroic mode regardless. So that's a non-valid point. Let me counter that by saying that the hardest thing we've tried to do so far in heroic is the first boss of the first dungeon, i.e. the level 81 dungeon. Actually, level 79 to 81 dungeon. Goes by the name, of course, of the one and only Blackrock Caverns, which would be the first one you're supposed to go into. And you know what? The other hard one is the first boss of Throne of Tides, which is the second one. So, yeah, let's just throw that theory right out the window, shall we? Because it's dumb and silly and doesn't make any sense. So along we go. Here's the trash, blah, blah, blah. Oh, right, okay, these ads actually hit harder. The one time we wiped, I think, was on the Cloud Princes. There were a double pull of Cloud Princes. They spawned 10 ads, and they hit about 5 times as hard as they do in normal mode, and they killed the tank because the healer wasn't expecting it. And that was it. There you go. No more wipes. Each boss. First boss. Now, the first boss, in the normal mode, it has a Cyclone Shield, which goes to the outside of the arena, then goes to the inside of the arena. What it will do is it will do damage, and it will slow you. So, this mechanic doesn't make any sense, I might add. It's actually really silly, because you'd think that when it comes in, you'd want to run out of it. No, actually, you just stand there. Now, in the normal mode, we just sat there, ate the damage, and killed him. And that's all he does. That is it. So, in heroic mode, we're expecting some really cool mechanics mixed in with this. Did we get them? No. You want to know what it consisted of? I'll tell you what it consisted of. More damage. That's it. No, really. If ever there was a better time to press this button.
Not one, but 2 Jormungandr worms.
It's bloody Wrath Heroics all over again, isn't it? In this case. Now, before I go on, I've got to point out something. That this is the worst one that I've seen. A lot of the others seem to be really good. Yeah? BRC. Throne of Tides. Stonecore, to some degree. Like, it's kind of half and half. The first boss is rock hard. What else have we got? Grim Batol's apparently really good. Halls of Origination is supposed to be okay. Lost City of Tolvi is like meh. And SFK and DM are supposed to be rock hard. Like, really difficult and challenging and awesome. So, in reality, Vortex Pinnacle is actually an oddity so far. Which does give me hope. But I've also got to say that I'm hoping Blizzard are listening. And I know they are. Because they keep telling me that they are. They send me emails. I get emails from anonymous Blizzard guys. I also have seen that thread that said we listen to Blue Please and many other fine WoW podcasts. Posted on the US forums with Nethera, Blue confirmed. Please listen to this. Please. Don't take this the wrong way, but you've created a terrible instance. Vortex Pinnacle is the worst instance in Cataclysm. Both in normal and in heroic mode. It's garbage. And that's annoying because it's actually really good looking. It's like one of the best looking instances, but it's one of the worst to play because it is so very, very dull. It's such a sad state of affairs, isn't it? So very, very sad. Now let's go on to the second boss. The second boss was the one that I had hope for in heroic mode because it already had a really neat mechanic. Now, that mechanic is called Upwind and Downwind. If you are upwind from the boss, you get a massive speed buff, both in terms of attack speed, casting speed, and movement. If you are downwind, you are slowed, both in terms of movement, attack speed, and casting speed. And it will change direction every now and again. And it's not just backwards and forwards either. It doesn't just have 2 different directions. It's a lot of different directions. You've got to note the way that the particle effects are blowing, and you've got to sort of orientate yourself in that regard. So you want to always be upwind from this thing. You don't want to be downwind. What he's also got is a breath, which is a frost breath, and will do an awful lot of damage to you. Here's the thing. The breath does loads more damage in heroic mode. And honestly, this boss was actually okay, but it was still really boring. Because in heroic mode, it does 3 times the damage. But here's the thing. That's still not a threat, because all you need to do to stop it from hitting multiple people is move and spread out. It's not really all that difficult. Okay, one person gets hit for a 60k hit. Your average HP for a non-tank in Cataclysm at level 85 in 333 gear is 80,000 hit points. So I get hit for 3/4 of my health. What else am I going to get hit by? Nothing. There is one more mechanic, and it's these little whirlwinds. And if you get hit by those, you take damage. But here's the thing. The whirlwinds won't kill you, even if you've just taken a 60k hit. It doesn't do enough damage. And the whirlwinds are really easy to avoid. They're so obvious, and they move really slowly. They crawl across the screen. It's like, I'm a whirlwind, and I'm crawling across the screen. I'm a 20 pints of lager. Kiss a kiss, love. Really, it is like some staggering, drunken hobo of a whirlwind. It is awful in every possible respect. And you can see them coming a mile away. Why would you ever be hit by them? We were not hit by any of those bloody things. So that fight is also for naught because it can't kill you. It can't do it. The only time it killed us was when we all bunched up and all got hit by the breath, which was the first time that we did it, and we didn't realize that it was going to hit for so hard. And then it was like, oh, guys, how do we fix it? Well, we could stand 5 feet to the right. Oh, awesome. Suddenly we DPS it down in 1 minute 40. 1 minute 40. That's disgraceful. That's not a boss. The trash takes longer than that. Ugh. I'm not just talking about length either. I mean, length is fine and all, as many people will say, but it's the substance that matters. It's the depth. It's the girth of the content, yes. And there isn't any. It's shallow. It's pointless. It is impotent. And yes, I'm making penis analogies. You're going to have to get over that fact, because yes, the encounter is impotent. It is declawed. It can't kill you. Ergo, it's impotent. It is incapable of doing anything to you. That's not what heroic content's supposed to be. And let's talk about the final boss, shall we? The final boss, you would think, would have plenty of new tricks up his sleeve. He doesn't. He does the same thing that he did, plus 1 mechanic. So he's got his chain lightning, like he did before, which is fairly easy to heal. It will hit you at maximum for 25,000. Meh. Okay? Whatever. So just over 1/4 of your HP. That's it. And he's not going to cast anything else on you, so who cares? He's got a static cling, which is his new ability. That'll lock you to the floor. It locked me to the floor for 6 seconds. I actually discovered something. Yes, unbelievably, the troll racial is actually useful for something now. It actually reduces the time of static cling to 6 seconds as opposed to 8. And he'll static cling you, then he'll draw this static field, this grounding field that you have to walk into in order to avoid the uber death ray that will kill everybody. And that's cool, that's an insta-kill mechanic, that's good, but the thing is, it was an insta-kill mechanic anyway. Even in normal mode, it was going to kill you. But we died once because we didn't realize that it was going to be so far away from the field. So what did we do? We moved 5 steps forward, where it was closer. Then suddenly, oh look, the static cling's worn off, we can run over here. But that's not all! The static cling can be dispelled! So you don't even have to worry about that! All you need to do is click the dispel button, and every healer now has a dispel mechanic. Gone, 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 there we go, okay, run into the static field, laugh at the boss as he does nothing. That's the final boss of a supposed heroic dungeon, Blizzard, is it? That's easier than Wrath! How is that even possible? Are you 7 different shades of stupid? Oh. Who made that fight? Who is responsible for Vortex Pinnacle? Own up! Because it's hardly your finest hour, is it? It's so bloody bad! Please, fix it! You've got this wonderful, pretty instance on one of the best-looking areas in the entire game, the sky wall. It's got great music. The graphics are fantastic. It's got a wonderful aesthetic, and it's so boring. Please fix it, Blizzard, please. I do not want to go through that dungeon again. It's like a 30-minute run. I can't be bothered. I don't want to do a 30-minute run in something that's so incredibly boring. Why would I ever want to do that? It's, again, Wrath all over. And because Blizzard insists, for no reason, in putting badgers into 5-mans again, and no doubt we'll have those ridiculous daily quests which allow you to get the conquest badges again. Just because they insist on allowing that to happen. You are going to be forced to go back into these bloody heroics. And I can tell you this, they had better not suck. Because I hate doing content that is awful. My name is Total Biscuit. You listen to Blue Please here on cynicalbread.com. And if you don't like the ranting, the door is to your left. Now, what could I play? There are so many great tracks available. But you know what? Considering the amount of bile spewed forth from my mouth today, I have an idea. It's from Children of Bodom. It's called Hate Crew Death Roll. Enjoy.